On this episode of Rock Down South, we sit down with country artist Colton James. We talk all about his background, his new music, and much, much more. We hope you all enjoy. Let's go.
Hey everybody, this is Colton James, and you're listening to Rock Down South.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Rock Down South, your home for rock and country music. Today, Paul and I had the pleasure of speaking with country artist Colton James, and he's no stranger to the music scene as he's been putting out music in various forms for many years now. But I do like his sound as it reminds me a little bit more of 90s country and is a bit refreshing in this modern country era we're in. He has a couple of new singles out right now titled Ring on Her Finger and I Miss America. We talk all about those, his journey in music, and some other cool things he has going on. So without further ado, here's the show. What's up, Colton? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. It's a great day to be alive.
That it is, man. That it is. Well, thank you so much for jumping on today, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you guys.
And Colton, now where are you located now? I know before we got on the interview here, you said you had a 300-acre farm. Is that here in Nashville? I mean, where are you located these days?
I'm in Southampton County, Virginia, and right now, but we do have our office building for our record company and our new condo in Nashville at the place down on 5th and Broadway.
Okay, yeah, so right downtown, and in the madness of it all.
Yeah.
So originally from Virginia and still spending time there, and then just kind of commuting back to Nashville. It sounds like.
Yeah, we're there quite a bit. I'm right with a lot of writers, and of course we've been in the studio a whole lot over the last 4 or 5 months. Starstruck and at Ocean Way, and a couple other studios we work in, but it's been a busy year, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I can believe it. I feel like it's been a crazy year for everybody this year, just up and down all the way around with everything going on in the world. And I mean, you have obviously a background, you mentioned kind of in country music, a lot going on in the writers round. But how did you kind of get into this journey, man? I mean, I know that some people it's a simple thing that it's a family trait, or some people they just have a knack for it or love for it. How'd you get into this, and how did your career start?
Well, I guess the long and the short of it is, I started in music when I was about 4 years old, and I did 9 years of Christian and gospel music. Both my grandmothers played piano and organ. One of my grannies on my dad's side was a honky-tonk granny from West Virginia, Texas background. Get together every Sunday on the family time, dinners, and sharing times, and I think there might have been a few drinks involved back then. I was too young to know that, but Granny would get on that piano and start singing, and she did some gospel too, my Granny James, and then, just good times. And it was, they called my family the James Gang. It was, my dad had 5 brothers, so it was six boys, and my granddaddy's name was Jesse James, and it was something else. It was a very strong family, and it was memories I'll never forget. And on my mom's side, she was an amazing piano and mainly organist, but she was an amazing watercolor artist, and she was pretty well known on the East Coast. But spending time, I guess you could say, around music, love of music, artwork, and a lot of family values and musicians in the family. I think it was my mother sang a lot in church and always instilled good values, and those rides to the fishing hole with my dad and 69 Chevrolet 4-wheel drive, listening to all those old country classics. Everything was a combination to get me down the road I've been on and am on. I did 9 years of Christian and gospel music, and I worked with a lady that went on later on. I guess when I was about 13 years old, she went and she worked with production with Walt Disney in Florida. And she told me then that, I think you really have a strong gift, and so I think God gave you a gift to speak to people with your songs and with music. And the conviction and how we deliver a song is that, music is the voice of the soul. And my grandmother, my Granny Smithwick, always said, she said, a painter paints with a paintbrush and a songwriter paints with a pen. And she said, I see you painting with a pen one day, because I know how much you love music, and I know you love to make people smile and make people happy. So it
Wow.
was a full of life family on both sides. Lots of love.
Yeah, that sounds like from 4 years old, around that many musicians and artists. Sounds like you didn't really have much of a choice as far as your career path, man. That's a heavy influence, a great influence. It sounds like, but that's a lot of artists under one roof, or in one county, if you will. And that's awesome. That's a really cool thing. I know some people like it. Like you say, it's a family trade, it's a family background, it's a family trade, and sounds like something that just kind of came naturally and has taken you this far for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, I never dreamed that. I knew how much I love music and wanted to be involved with it, but I was like, when I made the decision at 17, 18 years old to start playing honky tonk bars and kind of, you know, jumping on this ride that I was getting ready to ride on, I always tell people, you only get one ride on this ball of dirt. You got to make it your ride. And I've stuck with that, and I've been blessed over the years. And I, I paid my dues and had a lot of trials and tribulations and heartbreaks, and people that promised you the world, and people that stabbed you in the back, and people that did uplift you and bring you to the forefront. And I think anybody that has gone the distance has felt those pains and dealt with those battles. And we've all got those scars that have made it, but they make you stronger. They make you who you are, and they make you a better person. Um, but I guess you could say I love painting a picture with a pen and writing music that I've lived and that I feel, and that is going to touch people's lives, put a smile on their face, or just make them want to jam going down the road, and or stomp a foot, whatever. There's so many feels that comes with music, and puts you in so many moods, and I love all of it. I love everything about it, and I wouldn't trade one thing I've been through for anything.
Well, let's talk about your sound a little bit, Colton, since we're kind of getting on there. How would you describe your sound? I mean, you kind of have a little bit older of a vocal tone, older style vocal tone, if you ask me, and I really like it.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a good question. I guess you don't really discover what your sound is until you've lived it for a while, and just you know think about the influences. Like I said, know, I was one of those ones at a young age, and my dad would tell me, he would see me singing along with like Don Williams and Tom T. Hall and Charlie Daniels and Waylon and Willie, and I mean Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette, George Jones, uh, Chet Atkins, all kinds of different influences. The Hee Haw Show, just all kinds of stuff. But I've always, I have kind of a thing I can do with my voice and roll with it. I guess how Ronnie Dunn, the way he rolls out notes and carries notes and things like that. That was one thing I really loved with that style. But I also loved, all types of rock and roll, Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and Leonard, the Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers, um, Joan Jett. I mean, so many influences, but I kind of think it's a country feel with a little bit of edge. But I tell you, my producer said, man, when you step up with the mic, you just kind of go for it sometimes and just like rip it. So, but I do love carrying out the notes and creating stuff with the way I sing each line. It's like we were it's pretty cool we're talking about this, because a couple months ago I was working in the studio with Steve Marcantonio and Jimmy Nichols and a bunch of other people, and the guy that Chris Lusinger has, played on all the Garth #1 records, and we were all in the studio at Starstruck, and Jimmy was like, man, he goes, over the years working with you, it's like you go in and you kind of know your direction you're going in, and of course, it's building a bridge when you go in to cut a song. Things happen, magic happens in the studio, but I think over the last even couple years, 2 or 3 years, even more, 5 years, I've kind of crafted my own way I could like to attack a song. But I like to think it's different. Everybody's different. The good Lord makes us all unique in our own way. So my wife said I fell out the crib when I was a baby, and I probably did.
That's awesome, man. And on the topic of your wife, I think you put out a romantic song recently, Ring on Her Finger. Tell us about that one.
Well, I tell you, Ring on Her Finger is a very special song to me in many ways. For one, going back to Kim Tribble, and for everybody listening out there, if you just Google his name, you'll see the wonderful songs that he wrote and co-wrote over the years for many, many artists, including, Journey, big hits with, Jonathan Cain with Journey, and, Canadian artists and Europe artists and country artists. And Kim was very special to me. He taught me a lot. I think about him every day. I mean, somebody that spends that much time and believes in like the way he believed in me, it was very special. We hunted together, we fished together, we cried together, we shared so many memories. But Ring on Her Finger, it's the very last song we wrote together. It's the very last time I seen him alive. And he had some health issues going on, and it was getting worse. And I remember the day we wrote it, we got about halfway through the song, and he said, "Hey buddy, I'm gonna head on home. I'm not feeling too good." And I said, "Well, hey man, we didn't finish the song, buddy." And he said, he said, I got faith in you. He goes, "You got it, man." He goes, "You finish it." He goes, just you got this one. And that was the last thing. He gave me a hug. He said, "I love you." He said, "I've always loved you." And I think he knew something major was going on, and he never really told me. He didn't really tell a whole lot of people in Nashville. But anyway, what a memory to leave behind, and A Ring on Her Finger is, I can honestly say I married my best friend. Casey is one of the most amazing people and women you'd ever want to meet. And we love hunting and fishing together, and we raised a beautiful family, and we have a good time every day, whatever we're doing. But the video is amazing because we got to go out. We went by boat to this island out here by Virginia Beach, and it's a place that we love to go on Sundays and go out with the family and pull the boat up on the beach, and everybody hangs out and they're swimming. And I told her, I said, "You know what?" I said, "Let's go out there and film at sunset our part of the song." And my buddy Grant Hart, who's a world-class wedding videographer, took a lot of clips from weddings he's filmed over the years and compiled it all together with, our footage of just me and her out there. I mean, we were out there barefooted, dancing on a sandbar, and I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but the sunset was incredible. It was a memory I'll, have forever. It's a memory our kids will have forever, and our grandkids down the road. But Ring on Her Finger is, I don't know if you guys are married, but when you do put that ring on someone's finger that's special, and it's for life, and it's the start of your journey with that special someone, and you create a family with, and it's just. But for me, it's one of the most special songs I've ever put out that me and my buddy worked together on, and it's just kind of cool, all the people that have reached out to me on Facebook and they're already starting to use the song at weddings. But I just hope it becomes one of the biggest wedding songs there ever was, you know. And what a tribute to leave behind for Kim's wife, you know. The video and the song and all that mixed into one is special to me.
Yeah, man, it's a good song. I like the video, and I did get the wedding vibes when I heard this song. So hopefully it'll be a hit wedding song real soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do.
And I'm married as well, so it's been about 5 years. So I mean, I could
Awesome.
definitely relate to it. How long you been married?
Well, I met Casey when she was 17 in a walk on the beach on the Outer Banks, North Carolina. And this year we just celebrated our 22nd anniversary.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, that's incredible.
We've been together ever since. We've been on this ride together. You know, every aspect of it. And I tell you, my wife's amazing in the studio. She's got an ear. You know, she knows what I can accomplish. So I tell you what, she's like, no, sing it again. You can, and she goes, and sing it like this. And like, you know, sometimes you're at the house and you're just cutting loose and nobody's around. Things like that people pull out of you. You know how it is with producers but old Kim Tribble, he used to say, man, he goes, your wife she knows you, boy.
And you got another single that you put out, I think before that during the summer, I Miss America, which is a really cool song I enjoyed listening to. But tell me about that one.
Yeah, I Miss America is actually just got released to radio a couple weeks back, the official drop date. And we're pushing it, and a lot of stations are starting to play it. The video was a lot of fun to shoot, and Brian Vaughn did the video. He does a lot of the Brantley Gilbert stuff, and I believe he did the Gabby Barrett. You know, one of the good ones, won a CMA award last year, CMT award, I mean. But we had a lot of fun with him making the video, and the cool thing about this song is I got a special co-writer on this song, Mr. Rick Dawson, the owner of Rich Strike, the 2022 Kentucky Derby winning horse. So, what a you know, unreal matchup.
Yeah, wow. That how did that come about?
Well, I tell you, I met Rick last year. This is how quick this whole thing has come about. But me and him both said it's a crossroad in life that was supposed to happen. And I tell you, I met Rick last year in Oklahoma City at a fundraiser for our organization, Land for Heroes. And he was there and listened to me play some songs and talked about our program. And, you know, there was some people that made some donations and stuff there. But Rick came up to me and my wife, Casey, and just really had passion towards our country. Getting to know him, you know, his brother was in Vietnam, and Rick is red, white, and blue through and through, loves his country. And, you know, he wants to make a difference. And I was at my house one day in Virginia, and I got a text, and it was something about America he grew up in, and I miss America. And it was an idea, you know, this thing he's seen or something. And I was sitting there in the house, like, America I grew up in. I can really relate to that. And I remember typing on my phone. I was like, yeah, I miss the America I grew up in, where a handshake was a handshake and a friend was a real friend. And I started thinking about that so I called Rick up. I said, hey, man, I said, I think you're onto something there. I said, I think this could be a great song title, I Miss America. And he said, man, I've never written a song. I said, well, you love this country and you're very passionate about it. I said, how about I fly out to Oklahoma and let's get together and see what we can come up with. So I went to his house and got up the next morning on his courtyard of his house there and outside Oklahoma City. And man, it was just one of those things. It was just meant to happen. You know, words started flowing out, and I just kind of like closed my eyes and I started thinking, you know, what did I do when I was a kid? First thing usually, we started out each morning with our right hand on our hearts, you know, all eyes on Old Glory, waving proud, you know, and it just started talking about the Pledge of Allegiance. And I remember, so I went to Christian school going up too, and I remember the prayer and just that special moments and that started your day, that made you proud to feel American, and just to get that day started like that. And you know what? We just started tying together things we loved, memories we had, things we've experienced in this country. Our blue collar worker, our hard working American has built this country. Our veterans, our everything that we wanted to put into it. And just we had it written in 2 hours. And I mean, I got the original scratch video, the lyrics laying all over, and I love that kind of stuff because I go back and look at it sometimes. I was like, man, just look what came out of that, you know. But, you know, like I said, there's crossroads in life that are meant to happen, and sometimes we don't know why or when or how, but when things happen and it turns into good, and you touch people's hearts with music, and you see why the picture was painted with a pen, like I tell everybody.
Yeah, it's a good song, man. Good lyrics. I really enjoyed the lyrics when I'm listening to that song, and definitely a patriotic song that I hope to hear a little bit more on the radio. That'd be cool.
Yeah, amen on that one.
Yeah, so you had Ring on Her Finger single released, I Miss America single release. So 2023 coming up. Any new EPs or maybe a full album coming up for next year? What are you thinking?
Yeah, 2023 is going to start off with a bang. You know, right in January, we got a 7-song EP coming out. Excited for everybody to hear this. A lot of hard work went into it, and you know, it's there's a lot of patriotic and family songs on there. We got one called "Richest Man Alive," 47-acre farm, American farmer. You know, Ring on Her Finger, I Miss America. Got another one called "Brave Men," which is a tribute to all of our armed forces, and another one called "Take This Country Back." And we wanted to put this EP out because we're working on aligning with all types of shows across this country that have to do with freedom, our military, our first responders, our USO, our military bases, overseas USO. So many things that we're going to align with this year, and companies, but we're planning to put a patriotic tour together, and we got some really cool companies we're going to be working with this year to start the process on that. But you know, it all aligns with our project Land for Heroes. We're going to be building a 15,000 square foot log lodge designed by Honest Abe Log Homes. It's going to be built in Southeast Virginia for our first responders, our veterans to come to with their families, enjoy some normalcy, get in the outdoors. And, you know, we're not too far from a lot of military bases and Walter Reed Hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, to get these vets out of the hospital and down to Land for Heroes and enjoy just getting away. But we got some cool stuff going on this year. Like I say, you know, it's exciting times, and you know, every day is a step forward in the direction that we're heading. But our main mission with the music is to reach people in this country about what it stands for: our red, white, and blue, our veterans and first responders, and families, and great values, and to bring a message to America about the freedom that we have in this country, and all the great things that we have. We live in the greatest country in the world, and I'm just blessed to live here and to be able to do what I do to give back.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Really looking forward to hearing that EP in January. That whole thing sounds absolutely phenomenal.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So these next 3 questions are what we close with and ask everyone. So first question, what would you tell your 21-year-old self?
What would I tell my 21-year-old self? To keep fighting, never give up, keep the faith, don't take no for an answer, and to keep looking up.
I like it.
Great answers.
Yeah, great answers. All right, I got one last one for you, Colton. What are you currently sipping on these days as your relaxing drink? Could be alcohol, could not be alcohol, whatever it is, man. What's your go-to these days?
Well, one of my favorite drinks in the world. I'm gonna say a name here. there's a restaurant in Virginia Beach, Virginia called Waterman's. And
Okay.
we love to go there on Sunday for their amazing seafood platter and their famous orange crushes.
Okay.
That's my favorite drink to drink. Me and my wife go down there. They got one called the Ruby Red, this grapefruit. But we love to go down there. And once in a while, we do get a drink. And I love seafood, and they got the best around. So I'd have to say sipping on one of those is one of my favorites.
Okay. All right. I have never been to Waterman's, but it's on my bucket list all of a sudden. That sounds absolutely phenomenal. I got to check that out.
You guys come on up anytime. We'll take you right on down there.
I'll add that to the list. I will definitely take you up on that offer.
Take you up on that.
Take you guys tuna and marlin fishing too. I'm a big time offshore fisherman.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I like that.
So as you know, this is Rock Down South. So what is something, or maybe a couple things that come to mind, that you love about the South?
The South. Southern fried chicken. The Florida sunsets. Southern hospitality. Speckled trout fishing off the Gulf of Louisiana with live shrimp. And the Dallas Cowboys in Texas.
Those are good answers.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm just throwing something out there, man.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Colton, for being a part of the show today. Where can people find and connect with you online?
My website is coltonjames.com, and the brand new one is almost done. Colton James USA on Instagram, Colton James USA on TikTok, Colton James USA on my official Facebook page.
And so you got an EP coming out in January. You got anything else coming out that people should know about?
I think if I had anything else more to do, I don't know when I get to sleep.
Tell us a little bit more about the charity.
Land for Heroes is a project that came to life years ago, working with other organizations like Freedom Alliance and Gary Sneeze Foundation and Trucking for Troops and so many other veterans things I've done over the years, working with the Sportsman's Channel and People with Outdoor Channel and Komen Foundation and St. Jude's and Tennessee Voices for the Children. And I wanted to create something. A lot of my family were military and friends, and I wanted to create something to give back, to put a smile on their faces and getting them in the outdoors and just experiencing a great time, getting away at a beautiful place. So it's a long story how it all came about, but Land for Heroes is going to do all that and more. And there's been so many people involved with it, and we're off to the races, and we're getting ready to get this thing underway this year. And our goal after we get this first one built is to build 3 more in key locations in the country over the next 10 years. So I had a guy ask me the other day on a program director radio station. He said, man, he goes, what drives you to do all this that you're doing with Land for Heroes? I said, I don't think Noah argued with God when he asked him to build an ark. And it's just a calling in my life to get this done and to make a difference. And if it takes everything I have in me, I'm going to get it done.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a true calling and a noble one at that. I think that nobody's going to argue with that.
I'll tell you, it just has nothing but good vibes all the way around, and I'm about the good vibes and a positive aspect.
Thank you so much for listening to this show today. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Paul and I had a really great time chatting with Colton. He's a great guy, and I really dig his style of music. And as I mentioned before, a little bit refreshing to hear that older style sound here making a comeback in country music. So make sure to go follow Colton on all of his social media pages and check out his latest singles for Ring on Her Finger and I Miss America on all streaming platforms. You can find all our content at rockdownsouth.com, and make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for the latest updates. And leave us a 5-star review if you can. We would really appreciate it. And as always, the views and opinions expressed by our guests are theirs and don't necessarily reflect our own. I'm Mark, and you've been listening to Rock Down South. See y'all next time.